Though I lost my mother shortly after I turned 8, it wasn't until age 13 that I would come to hear the last few words she uttered as she lay dying on her bed. "Don't worry about the children," she said to her mother, "because God showed me that they would be united with their father." My young mind convinced me for a moment. Then hope gave way to doubt. Was this to be a prophecy? How so? I thought. Father is not even in Romania. I don't even know if he's dead or alive. 3 years had gone by since Grandma had shared my mother's prophetic words with me. At age 16, against all odds, I would find myself in the presence of my father, in New York, no less. Was I seeing the fulfillment of a divine message from beyond the grave? The evidence seemed so indisputable that I became afraid to talk about it. Can you imagine my disbelief at the airport as my eyes searched for an image that resembled my father? At age 16, I could not connect that experience with the prophetic words of my dying mother. All I knew was that childhood memories of house searches in the middle of the night, threats to my mother's life by the police, and other forms of oppression would no longer reach me. But painful memories do come back to haunt us. It was not until my late 30s that I would unexpectedly relive the horrors of those years. At the time that my father died, I was a professor at Wheaton College and a PhD candidate at the University of Chicago. That's when the unexpected happened. At the burial of my father, a powerful flashback took hold of me and I plunged into severe depression. Though I was in my late 30s, I felt like the 8-year-old at my mother's grave. I relived with bitterness and increased doubts the pain of my childhood memories, which led to a crisis of faith. Those dark days of depression hovered over me for 2 years despite counseling and medication. Panic attacks, hyperventilation, and trips to the emergency room punctuated the weeks and months that followed the flashback. Loss of faith, anger toward God, misunderstanding, and criticism from Christian friends, all of these nearly drove me to suicide. In my despair, I reached out to a man of God. I had recently joined the Fourth Presbyterian Church in Chicago. The senior pastor there was Elam Davies. He listened to my story. Then he responded by telling me his own. He knew how suffering can put our faith into question. He did not condemn me. He gently wrapped his hands around my hands and made me repeat after him, "He is there. He is there. God is there." For 6 weeks, he cared for me with empathy and compassion. Hope was coming back to me. I was breathing better, and my faith took a new dimension. When suffering gets to the point where we can no longer bear it, that is when something divine is at work in us. What seemed to me as the silence of God in the dreadful years after my mother's death was a season of learning that no school could have ever taught me. Suffering led to knowledge. Knowledge led to action. And then 10 children were adopted through my intervention. That is the mystery of letting the pain do its work in our spiritual development.